What's happening, everybody? Steve here, Cars with Steve, and today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the media screen inside of the 2022 Lincoln Aviator. Going to be showing you everything. So how to set up Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, using navigation, driver assistance settings, and everything in between. It's a pretty in-depth process, so let's dive into it, have a little bit of fun, and see what's going on. Next up, let's take a peek at the media screen of the vehicle. So this is going to be a deep dive where you can learn literally everything about what's going on with the Sync3 Media Screen. So looking along the very top left, we've got our little home button there. Now we do have factory navigation in this vehicle, and this is going to be our base summary. So we've got our maps, we've got what station's currently playing. If our phone was connected, it would show up, but we can easily add a phone in there, we can add a phone in here, and there's also an option under settings. But let's kind of go line by line so you can figure out exactly what's going on. Starting off at the top, we've got our current temperature for our dual zone climate control, because we can set it individually for the driver passenger seat if we wanted to. So it is pretty nice, we've got that flexibility. We've got our clock along the top there and our exterior temperature. Now, if we press the clock along the very top there, that's going to literally jump us into our clock settings. We can adjust some things if we want to. We've got our data transfer there as well. So as you can see, we've got our connectivity, and then we've also got one other thing, and that's going to be our available Wi-Fi. So if we were connected to a Wi-Fi network, that's essentially what's going to go on with this button along the very top there. Now, starting off with our audio there, now we've got our sources along the very top, so we can change between AM, FM, SiriusXM, etc. If we had a USB stick with MP3s, that would show up as an option there as well. If we had multiple phones connected, etc., we could select whichever one we wanted to connect to there. So as you can see, we are currently on AM, FM. We can direct tune this way if we want to, so we can change out stations that way if we wanted to. We've got a few other options. So we've got this way. We can literally press the voice command prompt on the steering wheel to be able to change out radio stations that way as well if we wanted to. Now, saving a preset, it's pretty straightforward. Once you've tuned to the station, you're just going to press and hold any of the available preset pages there. And as you can see, it's saved in. But looking along the bottom, it is a mix. So we can do AM, FM, SiriusXM, and we can have a mix of all of them. Now, if we go into our settings along the very bottom there, we've got a few options, but specifically if we go into the radio, we've got our HD radio, our radio text, and we can change the number of preset pages. So if we go to 5, we're going to give that a second to update. And as you can see, we've got 5 pages, which means we've now got 30 individual presets. So we can literally program in a number of things. So if you're a heavy audio listener, you like to change between different stations, we can easily adjust. We can do a slide there if we wanted to change between different pages. But one thing is kind of neat, because if we go to SiriusXM for a second, we jump into our settings, we've now got a SiriusXM button instead. So jumping into SiriusXM, we've got our same preset pages there. I always recommend just keeping that at 5, but we can set our different categories, we can do a parental lockout, so if we want to block explicit content and things like that, we can do that. We've got different presets, we can lock out channels as well, we can skip certain channels, which is definitely a nice thing. So if you want to lock channels out, etc., you can absolutely do that very, very simply. Back and back. Actually, let's go back to our audio for a second, because if we, there we go. As you can see there, we can start some things. We've got our different channels there, or we can do a direct tune this way. But if we jump back into our sources, go to AM, FM, etc., as you can see there, it's brought us back to our base. It brings it back to our radio settings there as well. So that's the basics of the actual audio system. Next up, we've got our phone. So as you can see there currently isn't a phone connected to the vehicle, but it's actually very straightforward in order to be able to set a phone up. So you're just going to hit Add Phone.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
Yeah, you're going to want to make sure your Bluetooth is turned on, and you're going to click on Lincoln Aviator.
Confirm that the pin displayed on Sync matches the pin displayed on your device.
Which these ones do, so we're going to pair it up. Allow contacts and favorites to sync up, yes.
For your safety, please stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
Okay, so phone is now connected. I always recommend turning on 911 Assist, because this is the one that's going to dial the 911 operator. So if the vehicle senses we're in a collision, it's automatically going to dial 911, and then this one's going to download our contacts. And finish. As you can see, we're connected. We've got my call list, contacts, we've got the phone keypad, do not disturb mode, and a number of other things. Now, if we go into the app section for a second, I've got an app on my phone called LiveX Live. So it's a radio app, which means that we can listen to that directly through this middle screen. We can also listen to Pandora there as well. We've got Ford Pass, so it's actually an interesting one. So we've got Lincoln Way, Ford Pass. So the Lincoln Way app, I've actually got both apps installed on my phone, but Lincoln Way gives you the flexibility of being able to remote start and things like that directly through your cell phone. So if we go over, we've got the Lincoln Way app there, and we just click on Lincoln Way, and literally all you're going to do is just sign yourself in. But this is where you're going to go. That app, in order to be able to set up phone as a key, you can remote start using your cell phone, and you can do a number of other things, specifically using the phone. So it's definitely a nice thing. Now, as we move back to our phone settings there, so you can see a few things. If we had multiple devices connected, we would just go change a phone there as well. Now, we do also have the flexibility of setting up Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it's pretty straightforward to do it. So what we're going to do is take our USB cable and plug it into the main USB port there. Opposite end of the cable, we're just going to plug ourselves in. And just wait a sec. Okay, so I need to unlock phone, so we're just going to unlock Apple CarPlay. So we're going to continue out. We have to agree to this setting, and it should be 3, 2, 1. Do I want to allow CarPlay while the phone is locked? Yes, we're going to allow that. And look at this. Big, beautiful. We've got Apple CarPlay inside of the screen. And I absolutely love the way that this looks. We do have factory navigation, like I said, but we do also have the option of using Apple Maps. We can use Google Maps, or we can use Waze directly through this middle screen. We can easily search. We can view what are saved. We can use our voice there as well in order to be able to find destinations. Pressing this button along the very bottom there, we also are back into our main settings screen there. And it is nice because we've got quite a little bit of flexibility there. Like I said, we've got podcasts we can listen to, audiobooks, and things like that. Now on our phone, if we jump into general settings, we can go into CarPlay, we can look at Sync3 and customize. And then if you have a tendency, maybe you love listening to your podcast, boom, we can update it. You like your audiobooks? Bam, we can update it. Never going to use the calendar? Let's delete it. Never going to use Google Maps? Boom, we can delete it there as well. So if we look along the side, it's deleted a few apps. On our phone itself, it does show the apps that we've deleted along the very bottom. We can customize that, or we can reset to bring it back to that factory default screen there instead. And then we go back in. As you can see, we are now fully connected through Apple CarPlay inside of this, and it does look very, very nice. Now, if we press the button there, as you can see, we've got the Siri Assistant there. So we press the voice command prompt on the steering wheel. That's going to jump us into our Siri Assistant there instead. If we press the link and sync button along the very bottom, that brings us back to this Sync3 main screen. We can jump back into CarPlay along the very bottom. We can look at our CarPlay preferences. So we can disable CarPlay if we wanted to. So if we still wanted to be hooked up through USB without using CarPlay, we can simply press there in order to be able to disable CarPlay. And as you see there along the bottom, it's now disconnected it. And then we can completely remove my phone. Watch it. So we remove the phone. Phone is now disconnected from CarPlay. So it really is that simple. Setting up an Android device is literally the exact same process. So I've still got my iPhone connected there. So if we were to jump into phone for a second, as you can see, I'm still connected. But if we go change phone, if we had multiple phones connected, it would show up there, or we can just add a phone there as well. So all we're going to do is literally that. We're just going to hit add Bluetooth device.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
And on this phone, all we're going to do is wait for, there we go, Lincoln Aviator show up, and we're going to click.
Confirm that the PIN displayed on Sync matches the PIN displayed on your device.
PIN numbers match up there, so that's
For
great.
your safety, please stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
And then it's asking me, do I want to allow access to my messages? So we can allow or deny that, etc. We can set it as a favorite phone. So you're going to see this option if you've already set up another phone. So this is going to be our secondary phone. So we can set this one as our preferred phone, yes or no. And what that means is that if you've got multiple phones connected, if let's say two people that driver passenger both have their phone connected, whose phone is going to take priority? So you can easily set that one up if you want to. As you can see there, we're connected again. So we go back into my phone there. We're now connected to the Galaxy. We've got my contacts, we've got my keypad, and a number of other things. We're going to change phone again, and as you can see, we've got both phones that are available. We can go to an individual one, we can disconnect it, make it as a favorite, or we can completely remove it. So if we go back into the iPhone, we can reconnect it, we can connect media, or we can remove it in order to scrap it from the vehicle completely. So as you can see there, we are now fully disconnected. But very similar to the iPhone side of things, we can also set up Android Auto. So we're just going to take our USB cable, we're going to plug it into our available USB port there, opposite end of the cable, plug ourselves in, and watch this. Android Auto would like too, so we want to do that. We're going to continue. We have to agree to this message. And 3, 2, 1, and we are fully connected. Like same thing, beautiful, stretched it across the entire screen. I love the way that it looks. So we've got Google Maps that are showing up there. Pressing along the side there, so that's going to be our Google Maps settings. We've got our traffic, route options, things like that. We've got our notification center and our Google Assistant. Pressing this button is going to launch us into our media there as well. So I don't currently have anything there, but if I did, everything would show up. As you can see there, we've got my Google Maps, we've got my phone, we've got messages, and a number of other things there. And we do also have the flexibility of being able to customize this, very similar to what we saw on the iPhone side of things. So literally what we want to do on our cell phone, we're just going to search for Android Auto. And when we do, we're just going to have Android Auto settings there. So we're going to hook up, and as you can see, we've got the currently connected car. We can customize the launcher. So if we want to do a drag and drop to bring podcasts to the front, whatever the case may be, we can do that. One thing to note, it's not dynamic, so it's not going to dynamically update it the same way it would on the iPhone side of things. So if we press and hold, we drag it, we actually have to restart Android Auto for the changes to take effect, but we still can customize the launcher if we wanted to. Moving back, we've got our Google voice detection, we've got our daylight modes, or day-nighttime modes, we've got Google Assistant, and a few other things. So it is nice to know that we've at least got some flexibility here. Now we can jump into our main screen there again, hop back in, moving down, we go to our Lincoln button there, and that brings us back to this main screen. So if we're in our main screen there, we can hop back into Android Auto, but if we go back to our home screen, we can look at our Android Auto preferences there as well. So we go Android Auto Preferences, we can disable Android Auto if we wanted to, or we can remove the Galaxy. So what I'm going to do, let's disable Android Auto. Let's remove the Galaxy from the vehicle as well. All right, so as you can see there, so we do have the phone fully connected, and then very similar to what we saw on the iPhone side of things, so we can go change phone there. We can add in multiple Bluetooth devices again if we want to. We've got the main Samsung there though, so we can disconnect it or we can fully remove it. So we hit remove, yes, and 3, 2, 1. The phone is now fully disconnected. If we jump into settings for a second there, Android Auto is now gone. We look at Apple CarPlay. Let's remove the phone that I've connected earlier. Remove, and it's gone. And that's one of the nice things. So as you can see there, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are now fully removed from this menu. Now, if we were to reconnect the phone as well, it would give us that option of relaunching Android Auto or Apple CarPlay if we wanted to. So we go to plug back in. As you can see, so we now have that flexibility. So we can disable Android Auto, Apple CarPlay very simply. And that's how we set up either an Android or an iPhone device on this vehicle. Now, next up, let's move into factory navigation. So, as I showed you earlier, we do have the flexibility of connecting through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay to use our phone map app if we want to, but we do have built-in navigation. One of the great things about the built-in nav is that we've got a ton of flexibility, so we can search by GPS coordinates. We can just start typing in an address there as well, and it is a predictive text, so we just start typing, and we're just going to keep on going, giving it a second. There we go, perfect. So it's taken an address, let's just punch something in there. And as you can see now, we can save it as a favorite, or we can just start the navigation. So we press start. Boom, here we go. So it's calculating the route, and there it is.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, and then the route guidance will stop.
As you can see there, we're now connected. We can cancel the route out along the very top. We can also mute out, so get rid of the voice guidance if we want to. If we hit controls there, we've got some added controls. So if we hit menu now, we can cancel the route. We've got my screen view, traffic list. We've got some navigation settings. We can view the route as well, so we can see exactly what's going on. Go back, we can detour. So if we want to detour as we're on the active route, it'll do that for us. So it'll take a second and give us some detour options there. And let's go back. We've got search, we can look at our history. We've got our favorites as well. So that's one of the great things, is that there are so many options here. Now, if we go into our navigation settings, we've got some map preferences. So we'd be able to do a ton of things. So we've got our breadcrumbs. So if you want to literally show exactly where you've been, we can show our point of interest icons there as well. If there are accidents, they'll also show up as well. We've got our route preferences. Do we want the fastest, shortest, or the most eco-friendly route? Do we want to use HOV lanes? Do we want to avoid freeways, toll roads, things like that? Dynamic route guidance. So if there's an accident, it's going to let us know about alternative routes as we go. Some navigation preferences are specifically on our prompts. So as we've got an upcoming turn, do we want to have a voice and tone letting us know? Do we want to have just a voice or strictly a tone? And pressing back, that'll get us out of those base preferences there. And as I said there, we can cancel a route that way if we wanted to, or if we want to, we can also press the X button along the very top in order to cancel the route out that way. There we go, and as you can see, it's now gone. As I mentioned, we do have the flexibility of searching a few different ways, so we can literally type in the address there. We can view our previously saved addresses, so we can look at history, so anything that we previously visited. Moving back, we can go to home and work, favorites, etc. That's going to be the basics of using factory navigation. And one of the cool things, I like how responsive this thing is. Like, we can literally drag, drop. We can do a pinch to zoom there as well if we wanted to, very simply. We can circle back in on the car there. We can do a plus or minus if we want to zoom that way out as well. So, button slip, and pretty straightforward there. And then we've got our button there in order to change between different modes. So we've got our 3D, north mode, etc., simply by pressing the button. Moving into our app screen along the bottom. So there's currently no devices that are connected, but I was showing you the Apple side of things. So I did have a LiveX Live, so a radio app installed. So certain apps will show up on that middle screen. Along the bottom right, we've got a series of different settings that are available. First off, we've got our sound settings. So we've got things like adjusting treble, mid-range, bass. We can adjust our balance and fade very easily as well. So as you can see there, we can literally just do a drag and drop if we wanted to, or we can just reset it to bring it back to the center. We can also, there we go, so we've got a few different options for our surround sound. So we've got our audience version versus on stage and stereo. So it's going to give us a different sound experience when we do that. Speed compensated volume, so as we're going excessively fast on the highway, we can have it adjust the speed, the volume as necessary. And then our Revel experience is just going to be a quick audio test. We've got Bluetooth there, so we can completely disable Bluetooth, or we can add in Bluetooth devices. Radio, we've already seen that one. Some vehicle settings, there are quite a few things here, but looking at some of the basics, we can turn off our 30-minute idle, our rear occupant alert, so when we go to turn the vehicle off, watch this. Easy entry exit, which is a great one because if we go to turn the vehicle off, it's automatically going to lower the seat out for us and back it up in order to get in and out of the vehicle a little bit easier. Same idea with the cargo area there, so it can lower and raise the vehicle as necessary. Easy access height is where we're going to go in order to be able to set that one up. We've got our alarm set up, so we've got a few different options there for the alarm. I do recommend just keeping the alarm on all the way, so all around. We've got our remote start set up, so we can remote start through our cell phone or through our key fob. We can turn the remote start system off, and when we remote start, what happens? Do we allow our climate control settings to activate? So is it going to be based off of automatic, so the vehicle determines what the cabin temperature should be, or is it based off of our last settings? Seats and steering wheel, so do we want the heated seats or ventilated seats or the heated steering wheel coming on? And then duration, 5, 10, or 15 minutes for the remote start. Windows, we do have the option of using the key fob in order to remote open and close. Let's hop outside so I can show you how that's done. Right now, we do have the option of using the key fob in order to be able to roll the windows up and down. So it's actually pretty straightforward to be able to do it. So in order to get it done, in order to roll them down, we're going to press the unlock button twice. On the second button press, you're going to hold it. And then in order to lock them, same idea. We're going to press the lock button twice. On that second button press, you're going to hold. So to unlock, we're going to 1, 2, and hold. As you can see there, down they go. We can press the lock button part way in order to stop it. And then same idea, we can press the unlock button again twice in order to resume that window down. So you can see there, down they go. And then in order to roll them up, same idea, like I said, we're going to press that lock button twice. And then on the second button press, we're going to hold it. So we're going to go 1, 2, and hold. And as you can see there, up they go. And same idea, we can press and hold and stop it partway through if we wanted to, and then just button press again, so 1, 2, in order to get them all up again. So pretty straightforward there, and I love that we've got that option. We've got our wipers there with a few options. So our courtesy wipe, if we've got our windshield wipers going, it's going to take a second and go one more time to clear away any excess liquid. Rain sensing wipers, I do recommend turning that one off, especially when you're going into any sort of a car wash. We've got our rear wiper on, so if our front wipers are going, we put the vehicle into reverse, it's going to start our rear wiper automatically for us. Power liftgate, we can turn that system on or off from the outside, so we can disable that switch. We've got some options for lighting there. So our auto high beam, so if the vehicle senses an oncoming vehicle, it's going to dim your high beams completely, and then flip them back on again as that vehicle is passed. Our welcome lighting is lighting on the outside of the vehicle. Our adaptive headlamps are a great thing. So the headlamps themselves in some versions of the vehicle are going to be adaptive, which means we've got dynamic bending there as well. So as we go to turn, it's literally going to highlight and let us know exactly what's going on with the path in front of us. Auto lamp delay, when we go to lock the vehicle, do our headlamps stay on, yes or no? Locks, we've got a series of different options there. Big ones to point out, so we've got a mislock chirp. So if you go to shut a door and it doesn't shut all the way, you go to lock, it's going to let you know that that's the case. Remote unlock, so when we go to unlock the doors on the fob, do all doors become unlocked, or is it just the driver's door? And back again, we've got some options for our mirrors. So we've got our auto fold, so when we go to lock the vehicle, do the mirrors automatically fold in? And then we've got, there we go, so our door keypad code. So we've got a 5-digit number. Factory number is going to be standard, but we can program in multiple other codes if we wanted to. And that's going to give us the flexibility to actually get into the vehicle if we don't have our key fob on us. Air suspension service, we can turn that thing on or off if we want to, and then our backup start password. So that's a useful one because this thing does have phone as a key. So if for whatever reason, this is the one that we're going to use if our cell phones died and we don't have our key fob on us. So if we want to start it up, we do need to set this one up in order for it to work first. So we need to have the key fob and everything on us with the Lincoln Way app set up in order for it to work, but we've at least got that flexibility. Moving back again, that's going to be the basics of our vehicle settings. We've got our clock, which we can access here, or we can press the clock along the very top there. So we press clock along the top, and as you can see, we've got AM, PM, adjust hours, minutes. We've got our 24-hour mode. We can have it reset to our GPS location there as well. Moving back, we've got a phone, so that's where we're going to go into our basic phone settings, adding, removing a phone, etc. Driver assistance settings, tons of different options here. So we've got our adaptive cruise control system that works 3 different ways. Way number 1 is going to be our normal cruise control. We've got the adaptive, that's the set and forget it cruise, and then the intelligent with a tolerance level. So we set it at a tolerance of 0. So what that means is if the speed limit sign drops, so let's say from 80 to 65, it's going to automatically drop the vehicle to 65 if we've got the cruise control system turned on. And we've got a few other options there as well. So we've got our lane keeping system, same idea, 3 ways. The first way, if we start to veer over into a lane without signaling, it's going to give us a little bit of a steering wheel shake. The intensity is the intensity of that shake. We've got another option where it's going to literally give us a little aid, so it'll just gently nudge us back into our lane, and then the alert and the aid will do both. So we'll get a little bit of a steering wheel shake, and it'll rebump us back into our lane. Moving back, we've got a pre-collision assist system, so the vehicle can help us out with a few different things. It would have the flexibility to be able to brake for us if it senses a potential collision, or evasive steering is going to put our steering wheel into hyperdrive. We've got speed sign recognition, which we can turn on or off. Our rear view camera, we've got a few other options there as well. Our enhanced parking aid, so as we go to shift into reverse, this is the enhanced parking aid there. So whether or not that one shows up is going to be a matter of preference there. And then our delay for the actual rear view camera to show up. Our blind spot system, so that lets us know if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. Looking at our trailer blind spots, so we look at our trailer selection, we can set our trailer length there as well. And what that's going to do is that's going to extend the blind spot to cover off the dimensions of the trailer. We've got our tow haul mode there as well. Trailer sway control, so if we're carrying a trailer, if the vehicle senses sway going on, it's going to automatically apply engine braking. We've got our hill descent control, which is going to hold us at a set speed there. We've got our cross-traffic alert, so as we go to back up, if the vehicle senses somebody on our left or right-hand side, it's going to let us know of a potential collision, and then it can actively brake for us as well. Driver alert, if we start to veer over too many times without signaling, it's going to let us know we should probably take a break once our counter hits a certain number. Auto start-stop, we can turn that system on or off if we want to. We've got our auto hold setting. So our auto hold setting is an interesting one because if we've got that one turned on and we take our foot off the brake, it's going to literally hold us in place. And then we can also turn our traction control system on or off as well. Next up, we've got our Lincoln Way app. So we can see that we've got our vehicle hotspot. So the vehicle is equipped with an onboard modem, and you can use that for up to 10 devices. We do need a data-only plan through our cell phone provider in order to be able to use that, but we at least have it there as an option. Swinging across the side, we've got some general settings now. So we can change between English, Spanish, French, Celsius, Fahrenheit. We can turn that touch screen beep off. We can also do a master reset. So if the screen's giving you issues, we can just reset the screen if we wanted to. We can do a full reset of the vehicle. We can simply reset the Lincoln Way app instead. So we've got a few options there. Moving back, we've got our 911 assist, mobile apps. So certain apps will strictly work over USB, so we'd have to turn those ones on there. Moving off to the side. Moving back, and we've got our display mode there as well. So we've got a few different options for the display. So as bright and as beautiful as this is, if you find it too much, we can turn the display off, button press to bring it back to life again, or we can go to a calming screen where it just shows the date, time. Same thing, button press to bring that one back to life. Hopping back inside our settings into our display, we've got our background, brightness, so we can change the styling of the background or the brightness. This, as of right now, is technically the daytime mode. So we can flip ourselves between daytime or nighttime, locking them out permanently, depending on which mode we like the look of. Auto mode will flip us out between daytime or night, depending on the brightness outside. Takes a second there to update, and 3, 2, 1, and bam. All right, and moving back again, so we've got a few other options. So Wi-Fi and automatic updates work hand in hand. Make sure you connect to a Wi-Fi network at home. Once you do, you're going to want to make sure that you turn automatic updates on, because if the vehicle senses an update's available, it's automatically going to update it for us. Android Auto, let's remove that phone that was connected earlier, and Android Auto is now gone as well. We've got our valet mode and voice control. So let's actually go to our voice control first. We've got our advanced mode there. So advanced mode means we won't get as many notifications and messages. So we go to change the station. It's not going to say changing to, it's just going to change the station. Phone confirmation, do you want to call such and such person, yes or no? And then our voice command list. So when we press the voice command prompt on the steering wheel, this is going to be the voice command list. Moving back, we've also got our valet mode. So valet mode means that we can enter in a 4-digit number to lock this screen out. So if we've got a valet driver parking the vehicle, we can make sure they can't look through our navigation, previously saved addresses, things like that. Next up, we've got a few other options. So we've got some ambient lighting, which ambient lighting is great, and it's literally going to be all over different parts of the vehicle. So we've got a few different options for the actual color selector, so we can choose a few different options there, and it's going to show up at certain parts of the vehicle. So in our cup holders, things like that. So if we actually go down a tiny little bit, bam, let's drop down. You might just be able to see it. It's going to be highlighting going a little crazy there, but we've at least got the option of changing out the color if we wanted to. Moving back, we've also got, let's go navigation. So we've already seen some of these navigation preferences there. So we've got some map route preferences, etc. We've got our seats there as well. So the vehicle itself is equipped with massage chair seats. We can easily turn them on this way if we want to. And we've got lower rolling, upper rolling, circular cushion, and a few other options, and a high, medium, or low. So what type of drive, or what kind of massage, I should say, do we actually want? And that's going to be for the driver's side. So massage chairs are going to turn off for a second. There we go. And we can switch over to the passenger to adjust the passenger seat. So we just go driver passenger in order to turn one side or the other on. Now, one of the cool things is that we do also have a button just on the left-hand side there as well to be able to adjust that. So we can button press in order to be able to get right into that. And one of the cool things is that we've got even more adjusting parts. So we can adjust individual parts of this seat as well. We do have the flexibility of controlling a few of them on the door. This just gives us a few more advanced options, specifically for more of the interior parts of the seat, so we can get it to hug our body even more. And we can easily exit out of that, and then we've got some personal profiles. So we can set up an individual profile to remember cell phones, preferences for audio, and things like that as well. So if you've got multiple people driving the vehicle, definitely recommend saving a profile in order to be able to set everything up for you as well, and then just button press to move back. And then back to our home screen again. That is going to be a summary of the Sync3 Media Screen. So pretty straightforward, right? Like, there's a lot of info, but it is still kind of neat all at the same time. And I can't wait for Lincoln to upgrade the Aviator to the Sync4 Media Screen as well. But if you have any problems, ran into any issues, drop down in the comment section below and let me know, and I'm more than willing to talk you through any problems that you might be having. But if you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up, and think about subscribing, maybe share it with your social networks. And until I see you next time, take care.